Yo, 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 yo. It is another episode of the number one weekend hip hop podcast in the game. It is the weekend rhyme. It's your boy Ron. That is Leroy Green. What's good, brother?
What's good? What's good?
We
Music,
back
man.
at it again. We back at it again. I know you saw the episode with me and Super a couple of days ago. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Do the needful. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Buy us a cup of coffee. Send us a super chat. Send us a super thanks. Let us know you appreciate the episode. Leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts. We got a good, dope show for you today. We're going to talk about what y'all talking about. The Michael Jackson biopic, Michael, directed by Antoine Fuqua, that is in theaters right now. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. We're going to talk about the movie, the subject of the movie, the myth, the man, the icon, Michael Jackson, his legacy, and what we thought about the movie. We do a little Siskel and Ebert style, right? I don't know which one is Siskel, which one is Ebert. I think Leroy might look like Ebert a little bit. I'm just joking,
Damn.
and I might be the Siskel, the black Siskel. But anyway,
It's been a long time since I watched that. I don't.
anyway, we're gonna talk about that. Anyway, if you haven't heard, I know there's temperatures are rising around the country, in this country, and also to our neighbors up north. The temperature is rising. The ice is melting. May 15th, the boy, Aubrey Graham, aka Drake, Iceman, will be in your streaming services, your DSPs, in a record store near you. We're gonna talk about the rollout of Drake. We're also gonna talk about Blue. Leroy's got some reviews. He's gonna talk about Blue. He wants
I
to talk
gotta
about
talk about.
Bishop Lamont, Blue. We're gonna get into some music reviews a little bit, and also he has some comments about our Kanye West conversation that we're going to expound upon. But let's first things first. Let's jump right into it. Now,
Let's
Leroy,
do.
I've been on this podcast for a bit. You know, we've been rocking for about almost 2 years now, and when this Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef started, people told me on this pod, I'm not going to name names. You might not have said this. Maybe other people said it. Shout out to my guys. That it was over for Drake and he was done. His career was over. Nobody's checking for him no more. You know, he needs to go in hiding. He needs to go into acting. But last I checked, the most Googled, the most streamed artist currently as of now on Spotify is still Drake at the time of this recording. And the artist creating the most buzz in hip hop right now, as of this recording, is one said Drake. So this week he put out the big ice sculpture in Toronto. It
Yeah.
didn't melt. It was supposed to melt and reveal the date, but a couple podcasters and streamers came out and they were able to get the clue before it melted, and then the authorities thought it was a safety hazard, so they melted it. So
Right.
Iceman it's been percolating. He froze his seats at the Toronto arena where the Raptors play. He's been putting out messages, and finally the date has been revealed. May 15th, Iceman will finally drop. And I, for one, I'm on the record, so I've been consistent that I think that Iceman is going to be maybe Drake's most important work. I also think it's going to return Drake to a place where, you know, he's most comfortable at, you know, making records for, you know, that penetrate the social scenes and social environments. So you'll see
The club.
he'll be returning to the club, the barbecue, the barbershop. He'll be, you know, at the pool party. You know what I'm saying? He'll be back where the music helps the certain
The club.
environments. You know, if you not even the club, it could be the pool party in
Any
Vegas.
place where alcohol is served,
No, it
and
could
you.
any place where women are. Any place where women are, where people want to just chill. Maybe sometime in the barbershop, you
We're
want to have a
speaking
light
to
discussion.
one aesthetic of women.
No,
One thing about.
maybe the barbecue. You know what I'm saying? We outside eating some chicken and on the grill. You want to put on some Drake. Maybe you know it's gonna be
I'm
out there. It's
from
gonna be out
California.
there, and I'm not mad at that. I think there's a place in hip hop or those type of records. I think the game was on. The game said this week that you know people need Drake outside. He said the clubs have been miserable without Drake. We need Drake to kind of feed that ecosystem, which he's done for
That
16
that's
years.
that's that's too bad. That's
So
too.
I'm not mad at it. If people
That's
want to
too
have a
bad.
good time and
One
party,
man carries hip hop.
if people want to party and have a good time, I'm not mad at it. I think this moment for
We've
Drake,
been partying like 40 years.
I think Iceman I think this Iceman record is the equivalent to, and I'm not saying the content will be the same, but I think this record for Drake was the Black Album for Jay-Z. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that if you weren't there at the moment, before the Black Album was Kingdom Come, and Kingdom Come wasn't really met with 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 with
It was
with,
too mature for hip hop.
with rave reviews. Am I getting that right? Was the Black Album, was the Kingdom Come before the Black
Kingdom
Album?
Come was after the Black Album, but on Kingdom Come, he said, "I'm 38. I'm gonna rap about being 38." That was a no. That was insane back then, because back then, if you were 30 years old, nobody took you serious as a rapper. So Jay was 38, so they couldn't take him serious no more, because the
Right.
content is too mature. Hip hop is the culture of making music for children, unfortunately. So when you're talking as a 38-year-old man, that don't work. Now it could work. We're
So
talking about
I'm back to my original point. I think this Iceman album will be equivalent to Jay-Z's Black Album, because what I'm saying that because there was a lot of, during the Black Album, 50 Cent was coming up. That was a big threat. You know what I'm saying? So it was time for Jay-Z to kind of cement himself as the preeminent MC and dominant figure in the culture. And I think that Drake is going to do that with this album. Now, you may scoff at the notion. Hip hop purists and lyrical enthusiasts may say, "Hey, he's
me.
not he's not lyrical like that. What is he saying in his records?" But for a man that been in the game for 16 years, with his pulse on the culture, working from people from down south, people from all over, you got to give the man his respect. So I'm anticipating. I'm not a Drake fan. I was never. Let me put that. Let me put that on record. I'm not a
Like
Drake fan,
why are we handing out respect?
but
You know what I mean? Like
I do appreciate the music that he makes and the environments he makes the music for. So with that being said, what do you think about the Drake Iceman rollout, Leroy, and what are you expecting from the Iceman record?
to couch my last comment, I said we handing out respect. Drake came out in 2000, 7, 8, 9. We'll say 9 because that's when So Far Gone. He went to the club, banged in the club. We respected that. 2010, club. We respected that. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, club, 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 club. We respected it. So we're still respecting it still. Like how many times are we going to go to the club? Most of us have been to the club 100 times. So how many hours are we going to spend in a club? But to
How many
go
bricks is Pusha T gonna sell?
with your man, that's what aboutism. I'm talking
No,
about.
but let's keep
I'm
it
talking
consistent.
about one man.
But why is that argument not applied to other artists though? That's my question. I'm not what about. Okay, let's take what
Okay,
about.
okay,
Let's take what
okay, that's
about it.
fine.
Let's take what
Apply it
about.
to Pusher.
Let me not mention no other artists. Let me just ask you
Apply
the
it to
question
Pusher.
directly. Why isn't the same standard applied to other MCs?
I'm not. Before I even get into a standard, what I'm saying is, y'all really like going to the club, like a lot, hundreds of times, spending your money in the club, chasing women, going to the club. I'm with it. I get it. It's awesome. I did it for many years. I understand. Okay, but that is the main tool in Drake's arsenal, and that's great. But why are we so enamored? Oh man, but I can dance in the club. It's like, bro, you've been dancing in the club for 30 years now, bro. It's like, now I understand that element is needed. If one man has to carry hip hop, it's too bad. I came here to review other albums. I'm gonna review Blue and Exile, but it's too bad that one person has to carry the entire culture in club culture, and none of you other people could make no can do nothing. You know what I mean? But or nothing of substantial. And what I'm saying is this: I think the marketing scheme was good. I won't even call it a marketing scheme. I just call it was good marketing, like a Gotham villain dropping blocks of ice in the city to get people's attention. I think that was a good thing. We're gonna talk about Michael Jackson later. Michael Jackson, his songs had a certain substance in it. Now, if we're pardon the dude selling fruit out here, but Drake, if he comes out, right, best case scenario, because I don't get into worst case scenarios. I'm not here to bash artists, because a lot of y'all think that y'all are the equivalent of these artists. I don't know. I'm not here to bash these artists. However, if Drake comes out and becomes the biggest thing we've ever seen, why does that matter still so much to y'all? It's like y'all are so enamored by that. He was the biggest thing 10 years ago. He was the biggest thing 15 years ago. He was the biggest thing 5 years ago. He was the biggest thing last year. He was the biggest thing all the years he's been in the game. Why is that so? Why are y'all so enamored by just the weight of being big in the club, big in the numbers on streams, big in, making music that women could dance to? We've been I'm sorry, I came out of an era where that was just regular business. That wasn't getting chicks to dance to your songs wasn't no like huge amazing feat. It was regular. And so it's like, now granted, I'm on the lyrical side, I'm on the purist side, but trust me, we all understand the club, we understand the Assumption at first. I'm from the Snoop Dogg era, I'm from the Puff Daddy era. I've seen Puff Daddy come through the door. You should. So I've seen this movie already. Do you know what I'm saying? I've seen this happen already. So it's like, if Drake comes out and does that, that's great. But I think he has two options he can take here. Either make the biggest club bangers you could make, which is probably what I would do, right? Because I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna get my money. If I'm Drake, is what I'm saying. I'm gonna get. But he could lean into a more substantive side and rap from that perspective. Now, the latter would be impressive, but I just don't know if that's what he's gonna do, because it's not like he has years of doing that. Most of his other records, formula based, meaning how the songs were constructed, it was for club access, for streaming, for the young adults to have something to party to. I believe you're going to do that same one too, because that's what you do. Now, that's awesome. Do I believe that's enough to to get back at Kendrick? I do not believe that's enough. I believe Kendrick put such a whooping on this dude, man, that unless you attack club records very hard, I don't know if you could come back from that. You know what I mean? Now, when people say career is over, I don't think nobody. I think careers being over is based on when the artist wants their career to be over. I don't think it's based on what everybody's saying. So anybody making that comment, I get it, but his career is over when he wants it to be over. Same thing with anybody else. As long as they're breathing, they still can go to a studio, get some songs off. So,
I mean,
you know,
we've seen. I mean, let's. I mean, I think we're known. Drake is known for his club anthems, but if you go back and listen to Take Care, and you listen to Scorpio, and you listen to Even for All the Dogs, there's substantive records on there. Sandra's Rose, even the deluxe edition, Evil Ways. You got
the
what
the
else you got?
formula of the sound, aside from what you're saying lyrically, the sound of it is something for women, something for the club. So the cadence, delivery, and sound of that
Well,
material.
Evil Ways with J. Cole, he was just straight spitting. And then
He didn't have no choice.
even
He's
a
on the track
record
with
like
Jay.
Away from Home, you know what I'm saying? He talking about him coming up, you know what I'm saying? That's more so him just Sandra's Rose, he just rapping, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it was really formulaic club music. He was digging into a
I
different
know what
element
else.
of his persona. I think if he taps into that more, I think that'll be dope. I'm hearing, I mean, other podcasters, I think Rory and Miles said it. They play
Yeah.
snippets of it. They're saying it's the most lyrical they've ever heard Drake ever. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
Okay.
I do think he I think
That
I
would.
do think he should double down. I think the record's coming out in the summertime. I think people are gonna be outside, and I think you need to make outside records. So lean into that. Don't get out your comfort zone. Do that. Give us the hits and sprinkle some stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? And make it be a balance. And again, I hate to go back to the Jay-Z analysis, but Leroy, you're a big Jay-Z guy. Jay-Z was a master of doing that. He was a master. He was a Drake
Okay.
before Drake. Jay-Z was jumping on people's songs and doing features and working for folks down south. He was the one working with Jermaine Dupri, and then he jumping on the Juvenile remix and did some songs with Too Short. You know what I'm saying? He was the one that was spreading his wings
Yeah.
outside of New York to kind of make his music percolate in different regions.
Well, that just makes
Which Drake
sense.
did. I mean, no one other artist is doing that. You know what I'm saying? No popular art. We talked about it on the show. Artists don't do that no more. What Drake was doing. What you don't
Well,
you
the art in the '90s, artists did that. Yeah,
so
like
I know,
artists
but
collabed.
Drake took a '90s formula and he took a '90s formula and brought it to the to current time,
I
working with
understand.
different artists. Also, Jay-Z would put out "Show Me What You Got." He would put out what's that song? Big Pimpin'. He would put out
And but we wasn't
Party
tripping on
Records.
we them
I know,
songs wasn't a
he
big deal
would
to
put out
us.
party records, you know what I'm saying? And the party records got you to
We
go.
skipped them.
Yeah, we skipped them, but the party records lit the clubs up. It had the people out, had the women out, you know what I'm saying? And when we went
For
to the record, there was other things on the record, December 4th and you know what I'm saying, and records like that. You know what I'm saying? What more can I say? And things like that. Lucifer.
I understand, and yes, an artist can do both. But
Right.
when your strength is the club, you gonna try to come out here and be lyrical? All right, no problem. But if you dance in that water trying to be lyrical, and then you get Kendrick to come back and address you again, well, that is what you decided to play. If it was me, I would lean into my strengths. If I know my strength is in the club, then I'm going to lean on my strength versus leaning on another ability. But a balance, if you want to have a balance, that's fine. And again, we're it's not that I'm dissing the club record. You have to understand, I was in my youth, I was that club person. The person that was always in the club. The person that was always taking girls out of the club, always drinking something in the club, always bouncing from club to club to club, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was that person. So you have to understand the club element, I personify that. However, we've been doing that for 40 years. At what point do we say maybe we should address the street? Because we keep addressing the club. And but again, he's in a situation to where I would lean on my strength. Now, if he does come with some lyrical stuff, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be happy to hear that. I'm not gonna front because we've been waiting for that for 15 years. We've been waiting for him to get serious lyrically for 15 years. Yeah, so if he does that, which it would probably be in his best interest to do that, but it's just that my G, we have this whole thing about being that dude. I know the youth is not gonna believe this because in their mind they're like being that dude must be the greatest thing ever. However, in the era we're from, such as Tupac, Jay, Nas, they weren't just that dude. They also had something substantive in the music. That's all. That's now if Drake can do that, the I don't hear that coming from Drake. Now again, I'm older than Drake though, so I'm not supposed to hear that. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like he got to do something with that because if it was me, right, and you're challenging my blackness as what some of it was, or you're calling this person a colonizer, this, that, and the third, right? Okay, you're challenging my blackness. Well, I'm gonna remind you I'm actually a Memphis dude. If I was Drake, I'm gonna remind you I'm actually a Memphis dude that was born in Canada. Did you see that? That's the you know what I mean. So, but I don't know if he's gonna play into that. You know
He
what I'm
did that.
saying?
He did that a little bit. I mean, certified lover boy. He took some of the 3 6 downs, and I think he had
Yeah,
Pat on a couple records. You know what I'm saying? So he took a little bit of three, and anything Juicy. I think DJ Paul and Juicy J
he
produced a
can
couple
do it.
records. He can lean into
He
that too.
can.
But I think right now, I want to before we get into the Michael Jackson review, I think it's
Yeah.
important for us to appreciate. And again, I'm not a Drake fan, so people might see this pod and hear me talk. They might, and again, being a Drake fan is not wrong. So if you are a Drake fan, I'm not even knocking you.
It's not wrong,
If
but a
you're
lot
not a
of people
Drake
say
fan,
I'm not a Drake fan, but
but no,
why are
people,
you saying you're not a Drake fan?
yeah, but I'm
But
saying that because
not you, not
people
you.
be saying it as like as a shot, but I'm not. I was not. I do appreciate this the elements that Drake's music operates in, but I think we should appreciate big artists and seeing the ice sculpture and seeing the big explosion and the rollout. And I think we need to appreciate. We don't have many artists that are capable of doing this. You probably can count on one hand in hip hop how many artists that can still can captivate an audience with the rollout. I think if Jay Z were to roll
Uh,
out, you would
that's
see.
a low bar, man.
I think if Jay Z were to roll out and say he's and put out some messaging and some marketing around that, people will be activated. So Jay is one. I think Kendrick is another person that can do it. Cole did it. Drake. These are there's very few people that are superstars like that. Kanye. There's only certain amount of people that can get the attention of the masses. It's not just us in the community that are hearing about this. Is this ice sculpture was on like mainstream news. It was on CNN. It was on
It
NBC.
was it was good marketing. It was good
It's
marketing.
big. It's big time. This is like
But we're giving it props for being big, not because there's something in it.
well, we don't know. We don't know what
You know what I'm
we
saying?
don't
Like,
we won't know until May 15th what's in it. We won't know
I mean, well, why didn't he drop the song right now? Why
because
does
that's
it have to be May 15th?
because it's part of the rollout. You saw the
Okay, okay,
you
so
saw the Michael Jackson movie. You know why?
all
Michael
right,
Jackson
all
explained
right.
it to you in the movie. He explained it to you in the movie. He said when the guy was like, "You need to do interviews. You need to put out a record." And I know. I
Why
want
do
to.
I got to do that?
I want to just be mysterious. I want to be mysterious. Yeah,
And
that's what it is. That's what it is, man.
my whole thing is Michael Jackson did get in dangerous territory for a little bit in my artistic mind for a second because he started to become so big. Even as a 5 year old, I heard the songs and I would be like, what is he talking about? That's what I was looking for, even at 5 years old. But Mike had messages in his songs
All
that
right. Before we go, let me tee it up. Let me tee it up. So before we
yeah,
get into this, we already started talking about it.
yeah.
MJ, Michael, the movie Michael, directed by Antoine Fuqua, the biopic from the legendary Michael Jackson, is in theaters right now. Um, Leroy and I both saw the movie. I've got my thoughts, so I will give my thoughts on the movie right now. Then Leroy will give his. From a movie entertainment perspective, I thought the movie was really good. I thought it was really well put together. I think the story was concise. I thought Antoine Fuqua, who directed Training Day, The Italian Job, multiple other films, did a really good job of directing the movie. I thought the cinematography was dope. Shout out to Michael Jackson's nephew, Jafar Jackson. I thought he really embodied
Killed it.
that performance. I think he channeled his uncle and did his uncle justice. I thought the performances throughout the movie were dope. I thought Neil Long did a good job. I thought his brothers, people depicted his brothers, the gentleman that depicted Quincy Jones, and I think Lorenz Tate did a good job being Barry Gordy. I thought the movie was a solid. I give it a solid B. I give it a B. You know,
A B?
I give it a
Okay.
B. I give it a B. And the reason why I give it a B, there's some things I did not, you know, appreciate about the movie. And again, I wasn't there, and I guess they had the family's input on the movie. I think Jermaine was an executive producer. I think
Yeah.
maybe Tito Jackson was an executive producer of the film. So maybe I'm sure they had to give their input of the movie. But I didn't appreciate, and maybe this is just me,
Hmm.
I didn't appreciate the depiction of Joe Jackson. I thought the depiction of Joe Jackson to me was a little extreme. They made him really villainous, and I thought we never saw a different side of Joe. You know what I'm saying? I know he was working. They showed it one scene. He was coming in late. He looked tired from working in the
Right.
steel factory, and I don't think he wanted that for his sons. You know, that life in Gary, Indiana. If you've been to Gary, Indiana, you understand it's a really tough place to live. But I thought they should have shown a little bit more nuance to Joe. And maybe he was just a hardliner and just a disciplinarian. And there was no fun, no fun or bonding elements with his son. But I do think they should have shown some type of more
Yeah.
interaction. I can't think that all the interactions between Michael and Joe, as the movie showed, were tumultuous or challenging or tough. So that was the main problem I had with the film. I thought that it should be some more nuance to Joe's character. I just didn't
I
appreciate
get
that
it.
they showed him as a villain. But other than that, I give it a B. I think there's going to be a sequel for the film, and I'm looking forward to that. The post bad era of Michael Jackson's life, but I thought it was really well done, and I think it was a very good portrayal of the King of Pop, one of the best to ever do it. But that's my thoughts. That's my which Leroy. What say you?
Well, I thought it was cool. I'd probably give it like a B as well. My whole thing is like, if I made the movie, I would have to lean on the songs because it's Michael Jackson. Like, what else do you know what I'm saying? I would have to go in and out of songs, or like him performing songs. This is a child star who grew up, went on to be Michael Jackson. They stopped the movie in 1990. 1988. So we're stopping at around bad. I would have probably went until black or white. You know what I mean? That and so, but then that would only leave me with the time to make that one movie, right? Because if I go all the way to black or white, anything after that is kind of like the decline. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I want to make that, that's cool, but I'd rather just make the movie about the incline versus the decline. So, I thought it was good. He did a good job at that. Powerful songs, of course. We was all there. I think the scene with him, he was meeting with the Crips and the Bloods before he did Bad. That really happened. It's kind of funny, but there were real gang members dancing in the Bad video. You know what I mean? Some of
Was it beat it or bad?
it,
Was
it
it
was
beat it?
Beat It.
It beat it.
It was
Yeah.
Beat It. It was the one with no, I think it might have been Bad because he was talking. That's the one he was talking to Wesley Snipes in that one, right? But one of them, it was like there was real Crips and Bloods in there in one of them videos. Allegedly, nobody was there. I wasn't there, but the reason why I say that is because pop locking, right? It was in the 80s on the West Coast, pop locking was a big thing. Now Mike was already pop locking, so when he comes to LA and sees other people pop locking, you see how there's some synergy there. You see what I'm saying? And he incorporated that in his show. So I mean that was awesome. And some say the moonwalk came from the street. So hey, I wasn't there.
Yeah, Shalimar, or
Some people say
that's
moonwalk came from the street,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
One time, I'm sure. Hey, culture, I think, comes from outside. We like to think that, oh, I made culture myself in my room. I don't know. You know what I mean? But the part with Joe Jackson, this is the account of Mike's family. So however they portrayed him, I see what you're saying, how you could show both sides or whatever. The thing I took away from that is how when you are disciplining your child, right? We all want to make warriors as sons, right? Or astute businessmen, warriors, somebody who's going to be a leader, right? So how you discipline your child is up to you. Some people believe in spanking, some people don't believe in spanking. However, y'all feel necessary to raise your own children, that's on you. I think that the level of physical discipline that you put on your child, it could affect their confidence level as adults. Am I a doctor? Do I know that to be a fact? No, I don't know that to be a fact. But I think that fear, it rests in a person's heart, and then it grows with them into adulthood. You see what I'm saying? So you don't want to have your child being a fearful person. That's just what I took away from that particular part. But again, I'm not the expert in child psychology here. That's just my opinion. Also, the main thing though is like the nose thing, the nose thing, right? It's an aesthetic thing. I want to look symmetrical in the European way, right? We don't all know what Mike was thinking, but I think a lot of us, and I think in hip hop, I think the Drake and Kendrick battle is about cutting off your nose. It's about what type of music are you making? Are you making music with the African nose cut, with the black nose taken out of the music? Now, or is the nose of the black man in the music? Now, what I mean by that is, again, is the substance there. That's what I mean by that. By Mike doing what he did to his face, it shows a compromise to align yourself with the music business aesthetically. And I think a lot of artists artistically have chopped the nose off their art.
Well,
Now,
he was talking about his photos. He said he wanted his photos to be symmetrical, and then he
I
also said when he
understand.
was talking to the record executive that he was a proud black artist and he wanted his records on MTV. So I think,
Yeah,
I think Michael was a proud black man. I just think he was just an artist, and I think he looked at his face as a piece of artwork. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to
I
make it.
understand.
So I don't think it was more so of like him wanting to be more European. I think he wanted to be, you
When
know,
we say symmetrical, we're talking literally making our face European. I mean, if we're saying symmetrical in the entertainment business, they mean a European nose specifically is what they mean. Now, hey, if anybody thinks differently than that, that's okay. But I believe he knew that his audience was a masses of white people. So he's transferring their face on his face. You could be a proud black man, but in that proud blackness, your nose is your nose.
what?
God gave us this nose. I don't know if that's a bad thing.
Well, and Michael Jackson was the biggest artist on earth. I think he had white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people. I think he had
But we know
Asian people. But I mean,
the
I think
music business is
one
a
of the there was two things that stood out in the movie to me was one when he was in the pool and he was talking to his brother. He said, "I'm just sitting here trying to get ideas because if I don't take these ideas,
mm,
Prince will get them." So I thought that was interesting, because I'm on the record thinking that Prince is the GOAT, but it was interesting to see that they put that
yeah,
in the movie that Michael looked at Prince as somebody that was
for
on
sure.
that level. Was on that level. And then the second thing that I thought was interesting, that and kind of maybe contradicts what I said earlier, is when
Mm,
Joe and Michael are having a conversation, and Joe tells him like, "Hey, you know." I think this is when he goes to gets his new record label. He fires Joe as his manager.
yeah,
See, if you get away from his family, you're gonna start getting surrounded by people that's going to be a yes man and going to tell you what you want to hear. You're going to be in a dangerous situation. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's
right,
essentially
right, right.
what the message was. And I thought that was kind of true. You know what I'm saying? I thought I saw elements in the movie, and I don't know if it was intentional. It seemed like they were trying to drive a wedge. There was people pulling at Michael from different directions. His family, where the way they depicted in the movie, Joe was trying to, bring him in, have it for his brothers and for the family to make money in the tour. And then as Michael got bigger, the record executives who happened to not be his family was saying, "You
Yeah,
got to be your own man." And that struggle, Michael was in a struggle. You know what I'm saying? And I think ultimately,
yeah,
had he been, I don't know, you know, where he stood with his family and before his passing and later on in his life. But I think if he would have stayed, and sometimes you got to break away, you got to be your own man and be free. But I think if he would have stayed closer within that family unit, a lot of the things that happened to him, whether allegedly getting addicted to drugs and people trying to accuse him of different
yeah.
things,
Well, he said his father was too controlling.
maybe that
He's
wouldn't have
his
happened
word.
though. But maybe his father had wisdom and knew that people were after Michael and they were going to, put the drugs
He
on him.
was after
Use him.
Michael. He
I'm
was
saying,
after.
but maybe he had the best intentions for him.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
this is Mike's own words, though. Mike's
Yeah,
own words.
I gotta go back and listen to those interviews with Mike.
I mean, I think both can be right. I think his father could have been a tyrant, and the label could have been about their money. I think that the label was always there because if you're generating hundreds of millions of dollars and we think it's just Joe doing that by himself, I don't think that was the case. I think the label was always there since Mike was a child. You know what I mean? So if you're physically putting your hands on Mike too, I think that becomes an issue. You know what I mean? So again, I wasn't there, but this is what Mike's saying. You know what I mean? So I think two things could be. I don't fault nobody. What I do fault is this: we have this constant need for money. After we make 100 million or 1 billion, we act like we ain't got no money. At what point does the money chase stop? Is it 100 million? Is it 200 million?
Well,
After Mike,
I would like to find out.
after Mike, after Mike generates $1 billion, why is it so urgent that Mike go make some money? I don't understand. And this is a thing to where it's in hip hop too, it's out of control. After you make $100 million, why are you moving like you ain't got no money? Or like everything is so you oh, I gotta get the bag, bro. For the bag. Bro, at what point $100 million ain't enough? Yeah, you could always get more because you know how the interest works on millions of dollars. You know that money is just increases, right? So it's like we have the and that, but I can't fault them either because I know they were going for I know they were going for $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? And I see the math there, but I think that whatever happened behind the scenes, I do like the bodyguard that he had. I think there was some people that was like, Mike, you don't have to urgently act like you have to be every show and do every endorsement and always listen to Joe. Bro, you've already generated hundreds of millions of dollars. It's like you're not broke, my G. You know what I'm saying? And you never will be. And I think that Joe's problem was he could have all infrastructures around a very talented artist, even Drake included or whatever, right? Your best bet would just step out of the way and let them do their thing, versus trying to control that. I understand the need for the control, but I would probably have helped Mike. Mike, you like these little kid cartoons, you like animals. Let's try to incorporate that in your stage show. Let's try to incorporate that in the branding or whatever you like to do. But forcing Mike to do this, that, and the third under threat of like something physical happen by way of his father, that may be unnecessary. Now, it's allegedly because I wasn't there, but allegedly, Joe was kind of had a temper. You know what I'm saying? So, but the movie it did what it was supposed to do, and I appreciate it. Like I said, I would have probably went past beat it or past bad, but in hip hop we're still doing that. We reward you for being famous. You don't gotta say nothing important. Your music don't have to be about nothing. It could be about any. It could be, you could just say anything, and we're just gonna award you. And I'm just like, I'm from a Tupac era. Tupac can't wasn't just saying anything. There was something there. Jay-Z wasn't just saying anything. So Nas not just saying anything. So it's like I wish that, like Michael Jackson, there's something in Michael's music. The Earth song, Black or White, Remember the Time, even a Smooth Criminal. But there are elements in his music that that need to be there in the music that we praise. My issue with a Drake or even a Kanye is if we're simply praising them for being famous,
No,
then
I mean,
that's very shallow.
I think that's unfair. I think
That's
that's
very
unfair. You
shallow.
can't. I mean, let's go back
What are
then.
they saying?
So,
What are they
let
saying?
me ask you. So, I mean, you know the music. So, I'm not going to
Yeah,
quiz. This should be a game of quiz. With what are they saying? So, you're
that's what I'm
telling
at.
me you can't tell me anything that Kanye West has said on college dropout, graduation, late
No,
registration. Uh,
no. I mean, I could go back. I believe that everything.
My beautiful dark twisted fantasy, the Good Friday series.
Yeah, I believe that Kanye is who he says is who he told you he was. So if we go back through them songs, yes, I believe that the same guy rapping those lyrics is actually the man, and we respect that. Now that's okay
We
because
respect the music. We
I
respect the
know a lot of
music.
y'all was raised on that. So I understand
We
your
respect the
your mind.
music. We respect
Okay,
the
so
music.
y'all respect that.
We
All
respect the
right.
music. I mean, I don't. I mean,
That's yeah, I'm talking about the music. Yeah. To me, I'm not from that world. You feel what I'm saying? Now I am from that world of hip hop. I came up on Ice Cube. I came up on Nas. I'm a different individual. So in Kanye's music, no, I don't think he's saying nothing. Now we can cherry pick lines where he said, "Well, Jesus walks." That's awesome, my friend. That's awesome. But in the overall totality, no, this man's not saying nothing.
You don't have
Drake
a
in the
you don't have a career for 20 years not saying nothing, Leroy.
Okay, so
It doesn't happen.
everybody that disagrees with me, y'all could tell me how substantive his songs really were to you, and that'll be. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to agree with it because that's your opinion.
I mean,
So I'm going to agree with you.
you look at records like All Falls Down. You look at Facts that was on Life of Pablo.
And he is who he says he was on All Falls Down. He's exactly that person. On Gold Digger, he's exactly
Real Friends, No More Parties in L.A. with Kendrick. You got Waves with Chris Brown. You got Follow God. You got Everything I'm Not Makes You Everything I Am with DJ Premier. Can't Tell Me Nothing with
I'm
Jeezy.
just saying, I don't know what he's saying in these songs that has y'all so heart has you touched your soul. Like, what is he saying? What did he say?
You got the glory
What did he
off of
say?
Graduation. I mean, you go back and listen
A,
to the records. I'm gonna
yeah,
go
a
through
lot
the
of it
records
is
right
about
now.
buying clothes. A lot of those songs are about buying
The
clothes.
glory is
Right?
about making it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so making it. All right.
The struggle of family business. You got
I mean,
it's so many
he's not saying anything, my guy. I know that no one has really said this before, but everybody, when y'all go in the comments again, I'm not gonna argue with how you interpret it. If you feel like Kanye said some things that has touched your soul, then granted, I'm not gonna argue with that. I just want to know what those lines were. What did he say that has y'all so you enamored by this man? I just want to know
I
what
mean, he
word did
has
he
a
say?
gift. Kanye has a gift that many artists don't have. He can take something a simplistic thought and make it complex with the
Now,
tone of his voice, the way he
y'all
delivers
know
the
what he
line.
said.
He's a dope artist, man. You can't deny it. Now, you may not like it. It may not be your cup of tea. Again,
So he's dope. So we're giving props for being dope.
it's similar to me with Kendrick Lamar. I don't like his music, but I'm not going to sit here and deny that he's a great artist. I don't think to me, all his vocal tricks and his things he does with his voice, I don't particularly like. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't feel his music, but I'm not going to deny the fact that you might like his music or people around the world love his music. He's selling out
My
arenas. His
my
music doesn't move me. I don't think he's saying anything to me.
my whole thing is it will come across as if I'm saying Kanye is not great. Kanye has no talent. That's how people are interpreting what I'm saying. And I understand that. Kanye has no talent is how they're hearing what I'm saying.
That's
But
how
I know, but I'm asking people, what did he say that has y'all feeling this way? I'm not saying he doesn't have talent. I'm not saying he can't make music. I'm not saying I'm going to talk about the Blue album. I'm going to compare Blue to Kanye West and Nas. Now for those that know, not people that don't know, for those that follow blues music and have been to 2007, you should be understanding why I'm likening Blue with the sound of Kanye and the delivery of a Nas. If you don't, then you don't. But again, Blue raps from the perspective of being being a poor person that's trying to not be poor, right? I think that that's something that most people can relate to. So when it comes to a Kanye or a Drake, I'm only asking what are they saying that has the public acting like it is some profound thing that they are doing. You know what I mean? Now again, I'm not taking anything away from their talent. I'm not taking any away from skill. But as somebody who came into hip hop listening in the late '80s, early '90s, I've been here a very long time. Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean,
So when I'm
what was I got to push back a little bit, man? What was profound about Big Pimpin'?
That's whataboutism. You could skip Big Pimpin'.
I'm just asking, why are we applying? I'm
I'm
applying the
saying
whole.
if people don't think Jay-Z said nothing of value, because I've heard that, I'm not gonna argue with that. Because because I can quote lines from Jay-Z, but I'm not gonna do that. And again, even in the comments, when if y'all start listing these things that Kanye said that was so profound or Drake said that was so profound, I'm not gonna knock you because that is your opinion. To me personally, I think they're just creating songs, formulaic songs, and they're pulling out punchlines and pulling out slick pop trendy references. And sometimes they may get a little emotional, but this acting like this person is saying something of value. I need to know what that is. That what did they say? Now, if someone says all falls down, I will agree there. But an all falls down means a person that's so materialistic that they'll compromise their own best interest for material.
I mean, let's look at Devil in the New Dress. He
You know?
says, "We hit the Jamaican spot, hit the bar, take a seat. She ordered you jerk. You know, you're all what you eat." I mean, this break, he's talking about a tumultuous relationship, and just to put
All
that
right,
together, she ordered you.
all right,
It's
all right,
it's creative, man. It's something you can't
all right.
really you can't. It's like looking at a piece of art. You can't really put your mind. You can't
I understand.
say, "Oh, he did this." You can't really explain it. It's just the way it's put together. It's very.
So I can explain the music I came up on. I can explain what they said. I can explain Ice Cube, why Ice Cube hit America like very hard.
I can
You know
explain
what I
what he
mean?
did.
So it's like, and I could explain that by what he's saying in his lyrics are very profound. When it comes to these now, it's you don't have to say anything. You could say something, very, you know, this chick is shaped like a Clydesdale. Oh my God! Oh wow,
Don't
that line is so
That's
incredible.
not what
It's
the.
like
That's not what. That's not what.
I'm not saying he said that, but I'm saying is everything is incredible. These lines that y'all have been like with Bully again with Bully, right? And I'm tying this to Drake as well because Drake's gonna come out with an album. You could like Bully and that's great because people say, "Oh, people are hating on Kanye." I don't know what hate, or if you think it's hate, that's fine. But a lot of us, we came in listening to hip hop in the early '90s. So when we're listening to Bully, what is this man saying that's got us so like? What is so amazing about what he's saying? And and again, the people that believe that it is, I'm not arguing with you because I'm not going to argue with your belief. I would just like to know, whoa, okay, Leroy, he said this. This is an amazing line. Boom, granted, you got it. You got it. I'm saying to me in my ears, I'm hearing very, it's shallow to me. Does it sound good? Yeah, that's fine. If we're giving credit for just the music, I'm gonna give Blue credit for just the music. Are people gonna? Oh my God, the music! That's so great that a person makes good music. Y'all don't care about that. Y'all want to know if Blue said anything controversial, or if he that's what it's gonna. Oh, well, Blue he doesn't sell enough numbers. He's not as big. He's not doing stadiums. That'd be your argument. So I'm just saying, in my view, and the reason why I'm even still here is because we're giving super credit for being famous. Like if you're famous, we will bow to you. But it's like, what are you saying though? Now if you're saying something, and I believe that like I know Kanye has said some things. It's like it's eluding me right now, but the spirit behind what you're saying doesn't align with the statements you've made outside of that. We could put that to the side, but that calls in question to what are you saying? Now, we'll just take it on surface value and not even judge you as a person. We're simply looking at what you're saying. I'm going through these lyrics and I don't know why people are so enamored. When I'm going through these Drake lyrics, I don't know what is so groundbreaking to y'all. And does it have to be? No, but there is a difference between the era of what I considered great versus the era which is now. Some will say, okay, well, you're old and you're blah, 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 blah. All that's great. What we're listening to now is is people feeding the machine different versions of Travis Scott and Future. And we're just gonna go in the studio,
No, 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 no,
take
no, no,
diet
no, no.
versions of Travis Scott,
Who
diet
created those?
versions
Who created that? Who created Travis Scott?
his mother. I don't know.
I mean, musically, who
No,
created it?
no. I think Travis had his own style. I do
Travis
not
will
believe
tell you.
Travis sounded like Kanye.
Travis will tell you. He said it.
He
It's been
did he sound
documented.
like Kanye?
He's documented that he said he learned mostly everything he knows. His sound, his approach from Kanye West.
Oh, yeah. I think they sounded different.
Travis has said this.
I think Traffic sounded different than Kanye when I from what I know of Travis Scott. Now, if y'all think he sounds like Kanye, I think he sounds different. And I think over time, Kanye has started to drift off into his sound. I don't think I'm not hearing Travis making boom bap soul samples, and I'm not hearing that. But I do hear the other way, meaning Kanye drifting into his sound. Yes, I've heard that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the
Which is
change
fine.
like that came out with Kanye started switching his style when Yeezus came out. You know what I'm saying? You hear
Okay.
what Travis does, you can hear what that from Yeezus or even things like that. So that's kind of where that
Right.
influence from. And I think a young Travis was around the Pablo era, even before that, and he picked up some of those sounds that Kanye did. So again, he might have taken it to another level and maybe done something different. But the father of that sound is Kanye West. It is.
No, I never heard Kanye make that sound, and
Okay.
until Pop and Pop, I didn't hear it on College Dropout.
See, this is
I
when I
didn't
wish we
hear it
would play
on.
music. I hate having
I
this
didn't
show.
hear it on Graduation. I didn't hear it on.
Kanye has so many different sounds. I mean, he has so many different sounds. So many.
Yeah, but the main thing is we like him because he's famous. That's the main thing. It is. If he was not famous, I don't think y'all
How
would
did
be
he
out
get He got famous because of his music, Leroy.
because you came in on the back of someone who was already at the top. Like you came in standing next to Jay-Z, whether people want to
But Jay Z didn't
make
even
that
want him
thing
standing.
or
He carved his own lane because Jay Z didn't even want him standing next to him.
Rockefeller's not your own lane. Rockefeller is not
They
your
didn't
own
want
lane.
only Dame was the only one pushing for Kanye. Jay didn't want
How?
him.
Well, how? Because you need money to make albums. What Dame was paying money
So everybody's telling the story. Everybody that talks about the Kanye West story says no only person in the building at Rockefeller that believed in Kanye was Dame.
to make music, you need money,
They wanted his
right?
beats. They wanted his
You
beats.
need money.
They
If
didn't think
someone
about.
can prove to me that Dame was funding Kanye,
That's
then
not
hey,
what I'm saying.
hey,
What I'm
I
saying is
know.
that nobody believed in him as an artist other than Dame. I'm not saying who
Then
paid for what.
why do
I'm
if nobody believed in him, why did this album come out? You know what I'm saying?
nobody
Your
believed
album
in him.
can't come out. If nobody believes in you. You
Again.
know
Who financed the video? Who did they finance the video through the wire? Who financed that video?
the whole Kanye
Who
everything.
financed the
Where
first
that
video?
it costs tens of millions of dollars to make a Kanye. Where did that money come from?
Without no video, who they would have there would have been no
You can
video.
shoot your own video, but to get it played nationwide on every syndication costs millions of dollars. Who paid for that?
I don't know. I wasn't part of the company. I
All
don't know.
right, all right. Well, you know what I'm saying.
I don't know who
You
paid
know,
for that.
again, this is I'm just pointing something out to y'all. I'm just pointing something out to y'all. When you know, we be like, oh, this is so great, and you ask a person, well, what did he say? And it's like, oh, well, I just feel like it was great. It's like, bro, tell me something this man said. It don't have to be the verse. It could be the hook. It could be the bridge. It could be it could be the main theme of the entire album. What is he saying that makes y'all feel this way? Now, to me, I think his music sounds good, but I'm not hearing I'm not getting the same reaction when I'm hearing his bars. You know what I'm saying? So that's me. You know what I mean? But it's like I'm not saying he's whack either. But we are now in a space to where you can just say anything, and it's like, oh, and I'm just like, I'm just not with that. You know what I mean? I'm just not with that.
I don't think
If you have enough bread, you could say anything, and we oh my God, he's a genius.
I don't think you put I don't think you can put Kanye in that category, man. Kanye is
When y'all
truly.
let me know what this man's saying, that's so incredible because
I'll send you the records.
I seen Bully come and go. It was the most biggest thing ever, right? So a month later, is it still that now? Okay, all right,
I mean it's still
okay.
percolating. You know, from what I
No,
hear.
yeah, still percolating. Okay, fine, and that's great, and it's the same. And the reason why I liken that to Drake, let's say Drake comes out, he's the biggest artist to ever exist in the world. Oh my God, Drake. 2 weeks after that, then what?
Where GNX at?
Then what? 2 weeks after that, are y'all gonna point out,
Where
well, Drake
GNX?
said this. Drake said this, which is why it's great. If
What
y'all could do that, I would say salute.
what records you rocking on GNX?
You got reincarnation, you got Gloria, you got I'm just saying, as a student of the arts, play reincarnated for some real students of the arts, not casuals. Some real students of the arts. Play reincarnation. I mean, reincarnated, sorry, or Gloria. Or you? This ain't no amateur right. This ain't no amateur writing. This is some shit that this is could be genius if we're throwing out the word genius. Now, where is that? Where is reincarnated with Drake? Where? What song is that?
As
Where?
as one an artist once said, please don't play the nigga songs in this party. We don't want to hear that.
I mean, y'all have okay. Our community is rampant with degenerates, criminals, alcoholics, drug addicts. Why
Please
is
don't
that
play
so popping?
please don't play the
Why is
songs in
that
the
so
party.
popping?
We don't want to listen to that.
How y'all have been partying? Y'all have been partying 40 plus years and y'all not ready to do something else?
No,
Still?
no.
Okay, all right, so cool. So I understand. And that's what it is. It's we just want to party
Yes,
forever.
yes.
Okay, okay. So, pardon me if I don't take that serious.
Hey,
Pardon
I take
me.
it very
You know what I
seriously.
mean? Because I didn't need Drake to party. I didn't need,
No,
people. They were like, oh, Drake. Well, how are we gonna go to the club? It's like, oh, Kendrick, he killed the club. It's like y'all party was whack without Drake. Mine, I was fine without Drake. I don't know what y'all was doing, but I was okay before Drake at any club. So but it's like this addiction to partying, party. We're just gonna party our lives away. I just want to know, at what point do we start making music that actually means something? When are we gonna do that?
yeah, and that's what kind. But see, that's where the point you missed, Leroy. And we're going to go to the
Mm.
Blue and the Bishop Lamont reviews. I want to segue into that. When you say that, it kind of makes you hard to receive because Kanye West
Okay.
makes music that means something to millions of people around the world.
I,
Now you may
I
not like
I'm not getting it.
you may not like Bully, but you cannot tell me that College Dropout and Late Registration and Graduation and The Life of Pablo and My Beautiful Dark
Yeah, it's been
Twisted
like,
and there's records on Watch the Throne. You know what I'm saying? Like Prime Time and uh
yeah, but
you know
I'm done with it,
but
man.
he
But
doesn't
it's
make
like,
music that means things to people. He does. And it's his
but
ego.
yeah. Well, y'all are very rich people because what I'm hearing him say is he's rapping about the Louis Vuitton, the Gucci, the buying these expensive fabrics of going crazy off clothes. If y'all do that, that's awesome. But that to me is not now I understand what I think there's a little bit of a miscommunication here, but I think there's a defense mechanism that people don't want to hear that. Well, Kanye's not really saying a whole bunch in his rap. They're like, no, well, he's saying it. This means so much to me, but it's like y'all can't name me no bars where that even matters. And when y'all do that, Y'all naming sections of songs, and I understand how those sections were supposed to hit you. I understand how those sections were supposed to connect with you. And I also understand when there's a disconnect to where you're having these songs about how you're so pro black wearing a white lives matter shirt. I think there's a disconnect in what you're saying and doing. You know what I mean? So, but that's outside of music. But in these bars that y'all be acting like are genius, I'm not hearing that. You know what I mean? And again, Kanye's not a whack rapper. I'm not saying he's a whack rapper, but to me, just like with Drake, Drake doesn't have to say anything. He could come out and be like, I be getting to the money every day and night. I be getting to the money, and we gonna go crazy. He don't have to say nothing. And it's unfortunate that that's the state of the game, because if he came out and said that, I'm getting to the money, every day I'm going crazy, getting to the money, we would go crazy to that. That's how
Kanye,
simple it is.
Kanye, I know people wouldn't usually rap this, but I got the facts to back this. Just last year, Chicago had over 600 caskets. Man killing some whack shit. Oh, I forgot, except for when ninjas is rapping. Do you know what it feel like when people is passing? He got over
Murder
his
to
chain.
excellence, right?
No,
Okay.
this is everything. I'm not. He got changed over his chains a block off Ashland. I need to talk to somebody, Pastor. The church want ties, so I can't afford to pay. Pink slip on my door because I can't afford to stay. My 15 seconds up, but I got more to say. That's enough, Mr. West. Please, no more today. And he's got several of these throughout his career.
So,
Several of
yes,
these.
people have died in Chicago. Well, thank you, Kanye, for saying that and letting us know that that happens in Chicago, and that's great. With the style of writing there, I would tell people go listen to Sci-Hi and you tell me the style of writing. Then go listen to Kanye and you
So
tell me the style of.
you're saying Sahai wrote that record?
Yes, but we can. I can cherry pick lines from Kanye, and now people would say, okay, well, you're changing your argument or whatever. But in the totality of Kanye's music, he is not rapping like he's dead prez.
And
So
I'm for the murder
when
capital. They
people
murder the
paint him as,
capitalists. Okay, I got
I
another one.
understand, I understand, but I that era of Kanye to me, and a lot of it doesn't get past me. It got past y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You know?
He says it again. Even the murder to excellent. Is it genocide?
Mhm.
Because I can still hear his mama's cries, knowing that the family traumatized. Shots left holes in his face about piranha size. The old
Mhm.
pastor closed the cold casket and said the church ain't got enough room for all the tombs. It's a war going on outside we ain't safe from. I feel the pain in my city wherever I go. 314 soldiers died in Iraq. 509 died in Chicago. Man,
They died last night too.
yeah. He
So in the
says
last 15 years, where does he said anything about that?
He
You know?
says, yeah, it's all messed up when there's nowhere to go, so we won't take the time out to teach till we reach the TOP from paroles that hold G's, soul keys, low keys. We live like the promised land of the OGs. In the past, you picture events with a black tie. What's the last thing you expect to see is black guys? What's the life expectancy of black guys? The system's working effectively. That's why. I'll be a real man, take care of your son. Every problem you got before this day is now done. New crib, watch a movie. Cause ain't nothing news on the news but the blues. Hit the mall, pick up some Gucci. There ain't nothing new but the shoes. Sunday morning, praise the Lord. You the girl that Jesus
Don't
has been saving me for. So let's
don't
save
get me
before we
wrong,
take
yeah.
it to the floor. Black excellence, truly
Don't
yours.
don't get me wrong, y'all. I could cherry pick some lines too.
I ain't
This
cherry picking.
man
I can go every album. This ain't cherry
this
picking.
man has like 500 songs.
I
How
can go
many
every
of the
song and find something. Every song.
How many
Every
is he
song.
rapping like? How many is he rapping like he's dead prez, like he's
Every
Ice Cube?
song I can find a jewel. Every song. Every single one.
Okay, so I can't. I
You
can't
can.
find a
Well, I
jewel.
mean, you not. You told me. You told me. You said he. I'm cherry picking. I can
I
go in every song. I don't have
I
to
can't.
cherry pick.
I can't. And even within that jewel, right? I see a calculation there. Now, y'all could take it however y'all want to take it, but Kanye plays the role of someone who's very wealthy spinning a news cycle bar. So, and that's cool. And some people will say, okay, well, we'll put that on Jay-Z too as well if you want to put that on Jay-Z. Jay-Z's perspective was an active participant in the street, giving you that perspective. Kanye is spinning numbers and statistics off the news, but then justifying that in his way by hyper, materialism by what he's doing. But however the case may be, Kanye has hundreds of songs. I do not believe, I believe the vast majority of what he's saying got nothing to do with the murders in Chicago. The vast majority of what he's saying got nothing to do with black on black violence. The majority of what he's saying got nothing to do with dropping jewels. The majority of what I hear from Kanye West is a very formulaic, you know, I'm God. And because I'm God, you need to respect me. That's the perspective I'm hearing. You know what I mean? Now, people will say, well, Jay was calling himself Hove, and Hove, in Hove's perspective, there's reasoning in his lyrics. There's reasoning. He's saying, I'm telling you my life that I lived physically. I've lived these lyrics. Kanye is not telling that. Kanye is not saying that. He's not saying I live this. Kanye is saying I am so wealthy that y'all need to respect my money. And if you don't respect my money, then you are out of pocket. If I'm wrong, then let's pull up the first song on the King from Bully. Let's pull up the second song from. What the perspective is, we are just. You treated me like an orphan. That's one of the bars on the second song. Did we treat you like an orphan? Or did you go out and do crazy stuff and then you got mad at us because we saw you? It's like, come on, bro. Come on.
Anyway, we'll have a breakdown of Kanye West's or Ye's. I'm sorry, Ye.
Nah, please don't, because
We'll have a
it's
breakdown.
just it's
You're not
nothingness.
telling the whole
It's
truth about it.
nothingness.
You're not telling this whole truth about his catalog. To say he's rapping from a rich man's perspective, this is not accurate. It's not accurate because
So he's rapping from a poor man's perspective.
well, he was until he got some money.
I'd love to hear it, man, because when I first saw Kanye, he was already calling himself the Louis Vuitton Don.
He was aspirational, man. He was trying to be
the Don of Louis Vuitton is.
I'm not a rich man. I got Louis Vuitton. You ain't gotta be a rich man to have.
But the Don of it means
he was speaking things into existence.
It's great.
Anyway,
it's great.
Let's go to our next topic. You want to break down some music? It's been a slow month.
Stuff that rap heads don't care.
Bishop Lamont, I'll turn it over to you. Leroy, who do you want to tee up? Who do you want? I haven't had a chance to listen to these records, so I won't speak on them. But Leroy, over to you.
So just two things real quick. When it comes to I saw a Bishop Lamont interview on Sway, and he was talking about ageism in hip hop and things of that nature and creating his own thing. But he had his own website to sell his album. So when I see artists do that, I'm gonna have to get up in a second to plug my computer in. When I see artists develop their own website and sell on their own platforms, I support those artists, and that's why I bought the album. His sound, if y'all remember that Dr. Dre sound, he's on that. So that is a West Coast sound of Dr. Dre, and what I mean by Dr. Dre is the sounds between 2000 and 2007, that era of Dr. Dre. That's what his record sounds like. And the last record's Headphones, dope record. A regional sound, LA sound, that's what's dope. I segue that over to what Nims and Ron Browse is doing in a New York sound. People are saying New York, and I can't see myself in the camera here, but it's a little weird. But New York needs to have his sound or develop a sound or whatever. I'm not telling anybody what they should do. I'm saying that there are people still outside, still making the same New York sound that's right there. So Nims and Ron Browse, they dropped the album. It's the same. It has that New York feel and sound right there. So a lot of people, they be like, there's no music popping. There's nothing out here. There's music outside. It's just that if it's not Drake's name or y'all don't care. And I'm not mad at that because I understand the game here of, we have to keep it about the big three. But I just want to remind that there are other rappers, and that's it. That's not a shot, but I got to get into the other rappers. So for both sides of the map, Bishop Lamont, Nims, and Ron Browse, that covers those two sounds. And I'll get into that real quick. You know what? Let me hold on. But before I get into the blue, I'm gonna let you get into that and kind of like did you listen to the either one of those albums? No, right?
I didn't get a chance to. So you got to step away to plug your computer in real quick.
Yeah, and I'm gonna use the bathroom. Then I'm gonna get into Blues album. It's real quick. But the overall thing, I'm gonna let you go. It's just that I'm not necessarily bashing Kanye West or Drake because yes, it does take great skill to get to where they're at. I'm only reminding hip hop that these songs that we're hearing, they have to be about something. Whatever it is about, that's fine. Just make the song about something. So when we get into blue, it's not like he's making rocket science. He's not making rocket science. He comes out of that same area that Nipsey came out of. So in that area, they want to be successful. That's what they rap about. It's not a crazy concept. You know what I'm saying? But it should be about something. You know what I mean?
Right. You know what? Let's do this. So let's get into this blue. Let's get into this blue album. What's your thoughts on this blue album, Leroy?
So the Blue album, I'm a big fan of Blue, and we had them on the show before. But people that are fans of Blue and Exile and that sound, this is their fifth album. They continued that sound. You'll probably be very happy if you're a Blue fan with that sound. I'm comparing this sound to let's remove the fame and the money. The sound of the way Kanye used to chop samples versus the sound of the way Blue and Exile chop samples. Exile produced this album. Anybody who's a fan, you should kind of follow what I'm saying there. If I'm comparing Blue to Nas just in delivery, people if you're a Blue fan, you should be able to follow me there. So those things continue. It's a very jazzy album in this era where we have a lot of digital music and we have you could have AI make you an album and it will sound just as good as the biggest artist out. Like anybody could do that. You could have AI just make you an album. So what I'm saying is we're going to have new metrics of skill here because now we're at a point where the computer is actually as good as us. So unless you are coming with some high level skill, it's gonna be a thing. So it starts out with soul unusual, just the soul in that music. Exile said something about he wanted to keep the soul in his music, and he prayed actually to God, to keep the soul there, and you hear it. And that song, being made in the likeliness of God, um, God God is often in blues music a lot. And when we talked about the morality in hip hop, I'm not saying people got to have morality or not, but when hip hop faces a crisis, if hip hop's back is against the wall, and we need an artist to step out and make that event album or something that represents the culture, I would prefer it be somebody with morals. Does it have to be? No. Would I prefer it? Yeah. So that's I mean. Shoelaces. Tie up your laces for life. That was a dope song. And again, it goes into a jazz aesthetic, a more like it's musical and it's very if you were into College Dropout and all that, well,
It's got
you
some
know,
tones of Gangstar and Jazzmatazz on it a little bit. Some of
right,
that,
right, right.
some of
So
that old,
yeah,
even Pete Rock and CL Smooth earlier records.
exactly,
It's got kind
exactly.
of that groove to it.
Exactly. Blue is like in his late 30s, man. He's not making like he's not gonna be on the block shooting it out with you. Okay. Crumbs. That's a dope song. Just the sample there and that how that sound that Exile been doing is crazy. Man. Rome Streets killed the feature on that too. I don't rhyme. So and you got rappers that be like, I rap, but I'm not rapping. No, I'm not a rapper. The
I'm a
rappers be
game.
like, I'm a rapper.
I'm a game spitter. That's what they do.
Yeah, somebody would be like, I rap, and you'd be like, "Oh, let me hear something, kick something." They'd be like, "Nah, I don't be doing that rapping shit." It's like, bro, why did you say you was a rapper and I can't hear you rap? But anyway, so I don't rhyme. It sounds like Primo almost, and that's what I really liked about it. He talks about rap versus hip hop, the bag, the way the with turntablism, the way the vocal samples are intertwined with his verse on the bag. That was dope. And again, on this album, he's rapping about coming out of poverty to get in some money, right? And I think that in itself is some substance there, that is believable to most people and relatable to most people. And this is why the reason why I was harping on the what are these rappers really saying is because I believe if Drake really has something to say, that it'd be a powerful record. But I'm just putting it out there. What are you saying? The Hard Times. Fashion killed the feature there. He had like a melodic verse with it. And again, we're harping on like jazz and blues and stuff like that. Lazy Afternoon had kind of a off kilter type of beat and rap delivery, but it was still dope. In my window, he's as an artist, you rapping about what you're seeing, looking out the window. It's dope. TSOD with Black Thought and Makami. Fire. They didn't really go as crazy as they did, but as they usually do, but it's still Black Thought and Makami. So that was fire. Time Hills, everything has like a gospel type of feel to it. I don't worry about tomorrow. I got everything I need today. So it has like a gospel feel to it. But what I'm saying is, in this record, you production wise, you can hear the skill of it, whether it's something that you are into or not with that particular sound. With the messages that Blue is trying to convey, even though it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science, bro. It's again, he come from out the same area Nipsey was coming through. They want to make some money, bro. It's not rocket science, but it's how you convey that message and what he's talking about. Like a song like Crumbs, you know what I mean? And we fighting over the crumbs, you know what I mean? And so it was just, to me, it's like a reset button. It gets me back into rap music, like caring about rap music, like rap albums. I know when throughout the week on every pod, it's about whatever the latest gossip is. That's great. I understand why the gossip, it moves the needle of the culture. But I'm a rap fan. Like I have to listen to rap albums, rap music. So the people that are into that, the people that follow that, you hit that like and subscribe, because from here to this point out for the rest of this year, I'm going to talk about rap albums and rap music. Yes, we're going to talk about the big stuff. Drake, Kanye, Kendrick, Cole, all that stuff like that. If Jay comes back aside, of course we're going to talk about bit, but I don't want rap albums to get lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? So if like check out that Blue and Exile album, check out that that Bishop Lamont, Just Don't Die is what the name of that is, and more so the interview he did on Sway is what really made me tap into the album. So you probably watched the interview, and as far as just like that hard New York hardcore, just check out the Nims, because it's there. That is what is that is people being like, well, New York needs to make this and that. Their sound is right there. We're talking about Ron Browse. Like, come on now, like he been outside since Big L. So, you know what I mean? I just wanted to mention those two things, and the overall point of what I was saying today about just what are you saying. It's not really to dismantle the legacy of what they're doing, but as far as Drake right now, I believe if he does have something of value to say, it it could be something powerful. But I feel like he's going to just lean into what he does, and that's feeding the algorithm of these catchy little tunes and jingles that work well in certain atmospheres, and that's awesome. But
And some would say that's as valuable as well. So, and
yeah, I don't know what value we're talking about. Like I know the value means, well, if he gets money, that means we get money too. That's great and all that. But y'all know what I'm saying, man. It's for every time we talk about the great rappers, y'all throw out Tupac. Well, what you throwing out Tupac for? Oh, it's because he was saying something. And you throw out Nas. Well, what you throwing out Nas for? Oh, it's because he was saying something. So I just wish that Drake would say something and it's not hard. He has a life. You've been through something. The Kendrick thing was enough. So there's something you can rap about with substance. You've done it in little sprinkles here and there before. You did it when you first came out. You did it on mixtapes. You did it on features. So why can't you tell me something real? Why does everything have to be about, oh well, I could sleep with anybody's girl and I got like all of that is great, my friend, but I think you should probably say something because you're up against what happened in 2024, and I don't know if just club bangers is enough to remedy that. Or maybe Drake doesn't feel he needs to remedy that. This is just my opinion, but I think whenever you talk to somebody about great hip hop, they mention some kind of song with a message. I don't think that's coincidence. I don't think that is happenstance. You know what I mean? I think that's for a reason. And I just hope we get back to that. Everybody's grown here. Our average rappers now is like 40. Everybody's grown. So it's like what are we talking about here? So when I heard the Blue album, it just got me back into like a mode of like, well, I never left this mode, but we gotta make songs about something. I understand you have to be popping. If I made an album, there's gonna be a section of that album that's about nothing. Nothing other than me going to the club and going crazy and catching a female, and that's it. That's literally what that section is going to be about. But there has to be something beyond just that. You feel what I'm saying? We don't do that every night. So it's like, come on, bro.
Well, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait, and I appreciate your review on the Blue album. I skimmed through it. I got to do a deeper dive on it. But the first thing I heard from it, I heard elements of Gangstar, elements of old Pete Rock and CL Smooth, elements of Jazzmatazz. You know what I'm saying? I like the
Hmm.
record with Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? That record was dope. You know what I'm saying? Crumbs was a dope record. I Don't Rhyme was dope. It's a really good, solid project. 10 songs, really, really easy listen. I want to listen to it tonight as I write my review for Michael. Check out, you know, cordonhiphop.com. That'll be on there. But yeah, yeah. So I think we covered a lot, and we're gonna continue coming. I think Leroy, what you're doing is valuable, going through the music and breaking it down. You're really wrong about Kanye, but we can talk about that later. And you're really wrong about Iceman, but we can talk about that later. But
But
hey,
like I said, if someone thinks that Kanye is saying something real substantive, I'm not gonna argue that point. That's your opinion, and if it hit you that way, then I can't say it didn't hit you that way. You feel what I'm saying? So
right,
I'm talking about for me, like for me, and it's not that I think Kanye is a bozo lyrically. That's not what I was saying. I was just saying that, in my opinion, there's levels, and if y'all feel like he was really saying something, then cool. But hip hop is in a bad place. We're depending on one man to carry this culture. I don't think that's a good place to be in. Like you know what I mean? And I know that there are more rappers out there, but the argument is, oh, rap's boring now because Drake left. Well, if that's the case, then we're depending on one man to bring the interest to hip hop. I think that's a dangerous place to be in. On top of the fact that the technology has caught the culture. So now you're fighting against a machine that could make beats faster than you, that could write rhymes faster than you, that could put together projects in an hour, that can do so. Now you're up against a machine. So it's like if you can't operate at like a machine and it can come with 100 different styles, so I think we should get focused, man. And that first step, I believe, is we got to talk about something that really happened in our real life. A machine can't do that. It's a machine. What is it going to say? I'm a computer. The day they plugged me in, I turned on. Like we have to start rapping about our real life because hip hop is in trouble. if Drake is and it's no diss to Drake, but if he's the one that got to carry this culture, I mean, hey, we're in trouble, and I hope the album is great. Like, I'm not the type of person to wish bad on somebody, so I hope the album is great. But again, I think he has two options: either make something really heartfelt, which I think will have an effect, sort of like how 444 had an effect for Jay, or lean on your strength and attack the club, man. And I'm not gonna be mad at leaning on your strength. I'm a Wiz Khalifa fan. Wiz Khalifa attacks the club and attacks the weed crowd. I'm not accepting you at leaning on your strength. So we'll just see which way he goes, man. You know what I'm
We'll
saying?
see. We'll see. We'll stay tuned. But anyway, if you will hit like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the Blue album. Let us know what you think about the impending release of Iceman. Let us know what you thought about the Michael biopic. I just got a notification that it broke records, $97 million this weekend. Biopic standards. I think that's a record for a biopic. So Michael still breaking records. So shout out to the team that created that. Let us know what you think about the Yay album. I know that's still percolating. Leroy says he don't hear it no more. I still hear it outside. But
You hear it outside?
hit like and subscribe. I do hear it outside. Hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Let's get our subs up. Let's get our interactions up so we can
Yeah.
go live. We appreciate it. I'm Ron. That's Leroy Green. It's the Weekend Rhyme. Peace.
Peace, y'all. I'll be back next week with more albums.